Have you ever heard a voice calling your name when you knew you were completely alone? Some people say it's just your imagination. Others believe it's something else. Tonight, I'll tell you about a legend that spreads through small towns all across America. A figure feared by children, whispered about by adults, and ignored by the authorities. They call him the Whisper Man. And once you hear his voice, there's no turning back. The first stories date back to the early 1960s in a rural town in the Midwest. Families reported strange voices outside their windows at night. Sometimes it sounded like a loved one, sometimes like a child crying for help. But when people went to look, no one was there. Soon after, young men and women began disappearing. Days later, some were found wandering the woods, dehydrated, confused, and trembling. When asked what had happened, they would say the same thing. "I heard him whisper my name." Each of them had something else in common: long red scratches across their necks, as if someone or something had been holding them by the throat. The Whisper Man comes at night, always at night. He chooses lonely houses, dark dorm rooms, empty country roads. First you hear it, a voice. It's so soft, it almost feels like it's coming from inside your own head. It always says your name, always. At first, it's distant. You convince yourself it's nothing. But then, it gets closer, louder, clearer. And here's the rule everyone knows, but few follow. If you answer even a whisper back, you've already let him in. Those who claim to have seen him describe a shadow. Tall, too tall, arms that reach almost to the floor. No one ever sees his face, only the outline of a man standing in the corner of the room, waiting. Then the cold comes. The air thickens, your breath turns to fog, and you feel it, a chill right against your ear. And that's when he finally speaks the words that mark you forever. "Now you're mine." Ohio, 1990s. A teenage boy swore he heard his mother calling him from outside his bedroom window. He whispered back, "What?" The next thing he remembers is waking up 3 days later, alone in the middle of the forest, covered in scratches, with no memory of what happened in between. Texas, late 2000s. A truck driver pulled over on a deserted road at night. He stepped out to check his tires and heard someone whisper his name behind him. He turned. No one. But the whisper grew louder, circling him, moving closer. The next morning, he was found wandering the highway barefoot, muttering the same phrase over and over. "He's still following me." Pennsylvania, 1984. A group of friends tried to prove the legend wrong. They left a tape recorder running overnight in their basement. When they played it back, they heard hours of silence, until, suddenly, a voice. It whispered one of their names, again and again. That friend disappeared weeks later. His body was never found. Who is the Whisper Man? Some believe he's a supernatural entity, feeding on fear and attention. Others say he's a form of sleep paralysis, a hallucination born in the mind. Conspiracy theorists insist it's something darker, an experiment gone wrong. Military tests in the 60s using sound waves to control people's thoughts. But none of those explanations matter when you hear your own name being whispered at 3 a.m. The scariest part of this legend is that it doesn't depend on haunted houses or cursed woods. The Whisper Man could be anywhere, behind your window, outside your door, or maybe right now, leaning close and calling your name. So tell me, if you heard it, a whisper in the dark, would you answer?